هنا على المنصة لترحب بالحضور. شكرا جزيلا.
Come in because there are plenty of seats still, so you don't have to linger out there. Good morning, everybody.
صباحكم خير جميعا. قد يكون هذا جدا مفيدا خلال الساعتين القادمة، ونريد فقط
How we want to keep the building blocks being assembled to understand the challenges we've just heard from the chairman and the deputy governor. First of all, exploring new frontiers. Secondly, digital transformation and AI, which has been underpinning so much of the discussion here over the last 2 days, both the excitement and also the almost intimidating level of what is coming down the track. Thirdly, unlocking and navigating MENA private markets. And fourthly, navigating growth strategies for emerging asset managers in the Saudi capital market. Could I invite the first panelist to come up on the stage while I'm talking? Where are you? Please. There we are. And if you could sit in the order in which the pictures are up on the screen. I took the trouble to look at last year's discussion between the chairman and the deputy governor, and 2 or 3 phrases come out still, and I think they're underpinned by what we've just heard for the last half hour. It's about how you redefine alpha, and it's about understanding that this is a market which is changing incredibly quickly. And I think there was a frankness last year about how the challenges have to be faced, particularly reshaping revenue, reshaping the market, but understanding that the KSA is trying to catch up at the moment, is moving incredibly quickly. As one of the leading speakers said, we were only scratching the surface. So you're part of a big dynamic which is underway and is changing very quickly. And as was said last year, we have to keep raising the bar. So this is about maturing. And what we want to do in the next half hour is start on the track to finding the new alpha, particularly how that alpha will be achieved with the talent that is here and the talent that is still needed, as we've heard from the chair. Let me just introduce whoever is here. And again, for those who are standing outside, if you'd like to come down, there are seats further down. And we are going to be having 4 half-hour discussions, and there'll be a hot switch between each of them. So, first of all, Alhagbani, welcome. We've heard you speak already. Let me just underscore you're head of security investments at PIF. Munira Dossary, who is chief executive of Franklin Templeton, Saudi Arabia, welcome. Thirdly, Mohammed AlRumaih, who's CEO of the Saudi Exchange, welcome. And Abdullah Mohammed bin Ghannam, who is from the CMA, Deputy Financing and Investment for the Capital Market Authority. Welcome to you all. And I've said to everybody, this is going to be very intense. So we're not looking for speeches, we're looking for headlines, we're looking for discussion as well. But can I turn to you immediately, because you said in your opening remarks, we are about seeding new strategies. What kind of new frontiers and strategies are you looking at?
Firstly, I thank you for having us today. Thanks for everyone attending this panel. Thanks for attending this session. I think this is a tricky question to start with, but
we need to get into the meat very quickly.
Yeah, so seeding strategies is our core, let's say, a principle that we are doing now to upscale the asset management from the level that was back 10 years ago to the new level. We call it, let's say, new asset management 2.0, which is, it needs to have this kind of new product innovation, how we can actually give the manager and motivate the manager to have this kind of innovation by having these right seeds on these new strategies.
Are those seeds defined at the moment, in your view?
In terms of strategies, yes. We always go and we have a huge gap analysis across the market. Back in 2008, 2009, everyone knows here that we were extremely classical in the availability of the product in the market. People, asset managers were happy, investors were happy because the time back then is totally different. And now I think to have the right risk-adjusted return, you need to have this kind of new products that needs to come in and to be part of the main menu of the asset managers. And how to do that? We motivate them to serve our needs firstly, to achieve our risk-adjusted return by having these kind of products, and we seed it and make it even available for the whole market. So this is one of the major roles in terms of seeding. So quant strategy, systematic strategies, fixed income, and even enhanced passive strategies. A lot of strategies that we're working on currently in terms of upscaling the products and making sure that every product of those are available to everyone.
And broadly, when you're seeding these strategies, what role do you think the PIF is going to play in the development of the Saudi capital market and the speed that's necessary?
Absolutely. So just making sure that we had the limitation of the products that we had in the asset management industry was a main constraint for every investor, that it has 2 or 3 strategies, stick to that. Our role as
have those constraints been removed, do you think?
The constraints by having more, let's say, products available to the market, and how we can, because these products need an investment infrastructure, need an investment in the talents, need investments in people, and how you're going to do that? By seeding and giving the right return for the asset manager so he can reinvest this money to create these kind of products. So we are a patient investor. We will wait, and we can be part of the major, let's say, overhaul in the total system. I would thank as well our regulator in terms of facilitating the regulations and making sure and putting the solid, let's say, foundation for everyone, including us, to make the right enablement in the market.
Just before I go to Munira, I'm intrigued by your use of the word seeding. How are you sowing the seeds? Does everyone else get involved in it, or are you sort of being prescriptive about what the seeding should be?
Seeding, when we did the gap analysis, there are identified products that we know that we need these kind of products to be part of our portfolio. Then, as maybe the Deputy Governor mentioned, we have a great relationship with all the asset managers. We have around 35 or 36 is active with us now, and we have a potential as well asset managers that we are in the due diligence, let's say, stage. On these discussions, we put these products, and we want to make sure that who can actually avail these products for us. Then we can go for more due diligence and making sure that this product is available. Then we start the seeding process for these products.
Well, Munira, let's hear your view from Franklin Templeton. Are you clear about how things are changing and the speed at which they're changing and the way the seeds are being sown?
Yes, first of all, very good morning to all. So for us at Franklin Templeton...
Microphone down.
Was it? Okay. So for us at Franklin Templeton, we are, first of all, aligning our strategies with Vision 2030 and as well as the Financial Sector Development Program. We are actually very clear about where are the opportunities in the Saudi capital markets. We see very strong themes, starting from themes related to the social reforms that we have that actually contribute in creating jobs and having high disposable income, bringing our unemployment rates to the lowest ever. And that actually reflects in many sectors positively, such as the education, healthcare, and the real estate sector. We see other theme, which is a very powerful also theme, which is the digital transformation. We have a very strong infrastructure in the digital transformation in Saudi Arabia, and it is reflecting in all industries. I would say the third theme that we see it very powerful is the infrastructure. Saudi Arabia today have some of the largest projects in the world, actually, and it is also unique in its nature, being also environmental sustainable. So we see also this area with huge potential and opportunities. I have two more. One, very briefly, is I call it the new economy, which is entertainment. We have the media, we have events, with all the flagship events that are going to happen in Saudi Arabia in the coming year. And last, and this is area where us as a Franklin Templeton have a strong track record, and we're very keen on the debt capital market. We see the debt capital market have a huge potential to grow. Today we are only 20% the debt for Saudi versus the GDP, so this is also an area of potential.
Let me ask you about the speed at which this is happening. I quoted what the Deputy Governor and the Chair was saying on this platform this time last year. We've got to move much faster. And you've talked about the limitations still on market accessibility and on regulation as well. What kind of speed are you seeing, as we've heard there, that word, and I'm going to keep coming back to it because you introduced it, of seeding new thinking?
Absolutely. I think the speed is incredible. We are in asset management are benefiting from that because, as His Excellency mentioned, we are reaching the 1 trillion Saudi Riyal asset under management. I give great credit to the stakeholder today, PIF setting the standards, Tadawul for the strong and great infrastructure, and for the CMA. I call the CMA not only a regulator but also an enabler for us, the CMI. So I think, yes, the speed is there, but I think it is for the benefit of the whole industry.
What would you like to see more of before I go to the CMA?
Okay, so after giving the credit, maybe I would say a couple of challenges we have. I think we need to focus on in the coming years to enhance 3 areas. I would say number one, operational efficiency. So I'll give an example. I think my colleagues from the asset management will relate to. We need to see the aggregated account. That is very crucial for our business and our growth. Number 2, the liquidity. It's already improving a lot, but I still think there is a room for also improvement there. Activating some of the products that is already announced and approved, like derivatives, market making, and also ETF, which we saw a huge improvement in the recent years in the listing locally and globally. Third, I think foreign participation. It is very healthy. It is growing, but we also see it at the passive side more than the active side. And I think the role we need to be playing, all of us as a stakeholder, and especially the CMI, it's the awareness.
But there is an insistence that much more needs to be done locally, even if you're talking about foreign.
Yes, absolutely. So let me talk about maybe a little bit, very briefly, the awareness, as I said. So we do road shows globally, but still, who's attending those road shows usually are, for example, the large cap companies. We still need the mid and small cap also to have some participation in those road shows to increase the awareness on the Saudi capital market.
All right, well, let's go to the CMA directly then, to Abdullah bin Ghannam. Your deputy listed companies and investment products, when you hear the kind of observations we've heard there, what is your view about how quickly you can do it?
Well, thank you, Nick, and good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to say amen to what Munira mentioned, and this is one of the greatest things when we have this ecosystem of collaboration between the regulators and the market participants. And the good news for us is that every challenge that the market is taking is part of the strategy. When we talk about ETFs, it is part of the strategy that to enhance the diversity and enable more players in ETFs. And we talk about the foreign or international investors' participation, as His Excellency mentioned in the previous session, that it is taking gradual approach, and in last year there is a new enhancement, and the year after will be followed by further enhancement. And I would like to make a link here to the asset management. In the latest revamp of the QFI framework, which is the foreign investment framework, we introduced a new segment of international investors that can come directly through local asset managers, which is an improvement of the local content to the global players.
But just to be clear, what Munira says, which is probably symptomatic of what others are feeling, you are taking action on this, you're aware of it.
Yes.
And you're aware of the need for speed.
Exactly, and we are aware of the need of communicating the strategy as well, for us and the market players to be aware of what's in the agenda. Last but not least, market making. It started now in the equities. The DCM and ETF will be followed as well. So we take it in the agenda, and more importantly, we communicate it with the market players.
What about a couple of other things which have come up about making the market more friendly? Also the need for speed. Speed is not on your side because of the deficit that there is, and I can see a couple of heads nodding as well. How much have you created a culture of urgency?
Well, if we talk about the speed, we can talk about it in two parts. One part is the regulatory change, the speed of regulatory change. Second is the market adaptation. On the first one, you will find that regulators have continuous dialogue with the market participants, and I'm not talking about the CMA only, I'm talking about the CMA, the central bank, in the financial sector, with committees dedicated for different parts of the market. In addition, there is the Financial Sector Development Committee, which includes all the financial sector regulators with market participants and institutional investors like PIF. And the reason for that is to have the speed of change in regulations and accommodating the market needs very efficient and very quick. And on that, I think we are very efficient and very quick. On the other part, which is the market adaptation takes two forms. One, on the developments and the areas that came upside, let's say, they're coming from the market to the regulators and requested from the market. We will find in these areas the adaptation is very quick. On the other hand, when regulations are put in place without being necessitated by the market in the first place, we find that the adaptation is slower. And I think in that area, we can see the difference and reflecting on the history.
We have to put it into perspective that, of course, it's not just in KSA that there can be a complaint about not urgent enough. It can happen elsewhere as well with regulators around the world, so it's not unique to the KSA. Let's go to the Saudi exchange, if we can, to Mohammed AlRumaih. When you listen to the debate, the discussion we've had so far, and the points that have been made, particularly from the CMA, what about how you are adapting to speed and the urgency that is required by people like Munira?
Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, everyone. I think we are all looking at the same picture, but in different motives and different ways. So, for example, when we speak about the speed, it's accessibility of the market by foreign investor, for example, lowering the requirements, which is something that the CMA chairman, His Excellency, has mentioned in the previous panel. While the CMA view, if you look at the ownership or the investments that came into our market, it went 5 times from 20 billion in 2018 to more than 100 billion. So the growth is outstanding. And whether to open up the market, there's a hat from the regulator, is to make sure that the market is stable and to open it gradually at the right time, while us as a business, we look to open the market and make it as flexible as it could be. From us as an exchange and point of view, and we work on landscaping of investments and making sure that we generate more opportunities for local and international investors, and being one of the top 10 exchanges in the middle of the vision in 2030, took us into a new level, new challenges. So should we speed and go to the top 5? This is a challenge on us now, and we are all working on the same target, trying to develop the local market. How we can do that? By providing the right tools, the right products, and the right regulatory framework, which we all work on completely with the PIF, with the CMA, and market participant. And there's a pressure in order to do more achievements for us. So As an exchange, we've introduced many things, for example, this year, like the market making, which everyone is complimenting because it added liquidity, which is something that the asset managers are seeking. It's given the today focus that we're looking at what serve the asset managers. Another thing that we are doing from our side, but not to be seen by the market, for example, increasing the liquidity through having the HFTs. And we saw the increase from 5% 2 years ago up to 25% as of today. This is not seen directly by the asset managers, but they can feel the liquidity. Another thing that we are seeing a great progress, but we don't need to go into pushing and mandating on the companies, well, something that has been asked by the asset managers, for example, the investor relation. It's very important, but we're seeing a great growth among listed companies from less than 5% a few years ago. Now, most of the companies, they have an IR function that communicate in a timely manner the information that the asset manager needs in order to have the right strategy.
Let me pick you up because, I mean, I think it's worth emphasizing. You've gone from 0 to 100 billion in 5 years. And there might be an assumption that you are a more mature organization. You are moving very quickly. And you're talking as well about a big revamp in the trade system. What does that involve?
So it involves enabling more products and services. Recently, we launched the options, but we need to expand the offering of options to include more companies, more durations, which is something essential for any asset manager to develop the right investment strategy for their clients. Another thing that was mentioned in the previous panel, the omnibus structure. This is a big change for asset managers. They've been asked us to do those changes in the debt and the equity as well. We believe it will help them and having a more efficient operation from their side, also can create more product and ensure the fairness for their clients. So those are one of the big changes. Another thing is the speed and the system capacity, which will also onboard more high-frequency traders, market makers, and generate more liquidity.
Is that about changing the culture as much as anything else?
Well, I think we have the right culture. Reaching to where we are as of today is totally impressive, and you compare it to other markets around the world. What we need now is gear up and look for more challenging goals, and I think we're all on the same page where we need to be. One, from the number of listed companies, the market cap, and the sophistication of products we have. And we have new challenges in place. For example, the debt market. We expect a big revamp on that front to replicate the success we did in the equity market. And this is not easy, but the potential that will come from there and the implication on the Saudi economy growth and the need for financing for many companies, this is everyone's dream. But we are confident that we will do an outstanding job in the coming years.
Right, what I'd like to do in the last 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes is get closer to finding the new alpha. And each of you come up with an idea of how this can be achieved so that when this third gathering happens, presumably next year, that we can say, or it can be said, there was big change and it moved at a speed which we weren't expecting, but we need. What's your view from the PIF?
Actually, if I want to focus maybe in 3 or 4 points here as the major new frontier. Opening windows and door to the Saudi market by having the right placement of products, the right domicile in the right on the right country. In our target, we want to actually expand the reach of the Saudi market, enhance the accessibility of the Saudi market. ETF is a major component here, but definitely we'll go to maybe to explore even more products just to make sure this linkage between the Saudi capital market with the global asset manager and the global investors are clean and clear for everyone that he wants to invest in Saudi. So this is one of the major things. Secondly,
Be quick if you can, because time is short.
Yeah, maybe I would add just one point here in terms of the global asset managers. Global asset managers, I want to just say one point here. Moving to Saudi Arabia is an optional for everyone here. However, it's very important in our due diligence that the manager is sitting next to us. It's important to us that we are talking at the same time zone. It's important to us. It's one phone call away. You know, we are in the public market. It's very important to have this kind of decision-making process. This will impact definitely the allocation. It will impact exploring this kind of partnership with the global asset managers as well.
But that localization is really a critical element.
Absolutely.
Made very clear on this platform a year ago.
Yeah.
Without that, it'll hold everyone back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Munira, what kind of thing would you like to put your finger on immediately and say, that's what's got to be done?
Yes.
The new frontier.
Yes. So 3 points. Number one, we are a global asset manager. We have capabilities. We have networks. We are serving clients in 150 markets. So for me, it's very important to bring foreign capital to Saudi Arabia. We just launched day one at the FII 2 funds. One, the first bond fund to be listed internationally to bring investment to Saudi, and also Saudi ETF listed internationally with most competitive fees. So we want to encourage the foreigner to come to Saudi. The second innovation.
When you say come to Saudi, do you mean be here or take a focus on KSA?
From our side, they are the investors. We want them to take a position in the Saudi market and to have exposure to the opportunity. The second, I would say we have a lot of innovation, and we want to bring our also innovative product to Saudi, and we're working on a couple of projects in that area. Third, I would call it knowledge transfer. We also work very closely with our partners and clients to do training for their employees. It's sometimes we come to their offices and give training. Sometimes we invite them to our academy. Franklin Templeton have one of the largest academies in the world. And also to the community. Last night we have signed with Princess Noura University, the largest women university in the world, an agreement to train their students in the finance.
But to underscore that, that's come through both at this conference and earlier conferences on education. This is an urgency.
Absolutely, absolutely. We see the gap between, from the graduate, between the education and the practical experience. So we're covering that.
Right.
And we have one more thing, if you may. Actually, we targeted Princess Noura because we want to also empower women in the financial sector, and we wanted to increase the pipeline from the women in the finance industry.
All right, Abdullah, lay down the challenge for the CMA and what you would like to see.
Well, first I would like to start with what we have seen here, so far. Briefly, I think the Saudi capital market now has been more connected to the economical activities more than ever. In a sense, the Saudi capital market is now becoming taking business needs and presenting them in opportunities to investors, and that is a great breakthrough to have for the Saudi capital market. And we still believe, although the AUM has reached a trillion Saudi riyal, which is around 300 billion US dollar, we still believe there is a great potential to be unlocked in the asset management business. And it is coming from 2 main points. One, penetrating asset classes that we are still scratching the surface of so far, and I'll give some examples. Private credit, fixed income, ETFs, infrastructure. We're still scratching the surface at. Second, the regulatory reforms that are going to take place. His Excellency mentioned the omnibus structure, which Munira alluded to. The second, introducing more flexible structures that will happen next year.
Last word, if I can, but not least, for the Saudi exchange and what you're seeing, because one of the important words used by the chair was trust, and the other word is confidence. What can you do on the Saudi exchange to elevate that, to reinforce it, to strengthen those particular elements?
Okay, you have a regulator which is very progressive, transparent in communicating on the future development, and one of the rare occasions where you find a regulator trying to develop the business of the capital market. You have the sovereign fund PIF encouraging the asset management industry, one of the fastest growing funds globally as well. And exchange, one of the also fast-growing exchanges in the world. So you should focus on the Saudi market. We have done tremendous work in the past. We're committed to do the same in the future. Our commitment is we will enhance the existing product, we'll be fast responsive to their needs and demands, and we'll provide them with the sophistication they're looking to invest in the Saudi market, and it will continue getting their trust.
So what you're saying is trust and confidence are vital, and that it's kind of in your DNA.
Absolutely. It's a DNA in any capital market, and we should keep it as something that will encourage their investments more and more in our market. We've been communicating continuously with the investors, and we're encouraging also the listed companies to continuously give the information on a timely manner to increase the trust on the Saudi market. We have seen the acceleration. I think it's a testament, if you see, the acceleration of foreign investment in the Saudi market being, for example, last year, the second largest recipient of foreign investment from active investors. This is a token of appreciation from the investors. They're voting with their money, and we believe this will continue in a faster pace in the future while we're building other markets.
Well, we look forward to your report back in FII 9, presumably a year from now. All four of you, thank you very much indeed for setting a tone, putting in place the first building blocks with your seeding. We've begun the search for alpha, so thank you very much indeed. I'll move on swiftly to the next panel, so thank you.
Thank you so much.